Okay, we're going to look at converting units. And the first one we're going to look at is length. Okay, so what I like to do whenever I get into a situation like this is start off by thinking of my units of length. I'm going to write down, we've got kilometers, we've got meters, we've got centimeters, we've got millimeters. Okay, and then thinking between those, what are the number of them in between them? So millimeters to centimeters, well, there's 10 millimeters in a centimeter. Centimeters to meters, there's 100. Centimeters in a meter. Meters to kilometers, there's 1,000. And going back the other way, we've got 1,000, 100, and 10. Okay, now it's a matter of which one's times and which one's divide. Okay, so if I think about it and I've got 50 millimeters, I know that's going to be 5 centimeters. So I've made the number itself smaller. So on the way up is going to be divide. Okay, because I'm going to have less of those numbers to represent the same distance. And then say kilometers to meters, if I have 5 kilometers, well, that's 5,000 meters. So there I've made the number bigger, so we're going to go times this way. And that's all I need to remember. Okay, so let's do an example. Okay, here's my example, and it's 3.2 kilometers to meters. Okay, so I'll write down, we've got 3.2 kilometers, and what am I going to do? Kilometers to meters go this way. My number's going to get bigger, isn't it? Because I'll have more meters to represent that many kilometers, so I've got times by 1,000 equals 3.2 times 1,000, 3,200 meters. Okay. Next up, example 2. Let's do a second one, and I'll show you something cool with this whole system called the metric system, which is what all of the good countries in the world use. Let's take, for example, we want to do 4.5 meters to millimeters. Okay, well, if I do this 4.5, and now I'm going meters to millimeters, so I know it's going to be times, but I don't have to stop at centimeters along the way. I can actually jump straight there because the zeros actually stack together. I just need to count how many zeros it's going to take me. 1, 2, 3. So I just times by 1,000. So do that. 4.5 times 1,000, 4,500. Okay, millimeters. So that's converting length. Converting area next. Converting units of area is really the same thing. Okay, we start off with kilometers, meters, centimeters, millimeters. We draw our arrows in, and it's actually the same units. Millimeters to centimeters is 10. Okay, that's divide, sorry, divide by 10, divide by 100, divide by 1,000, times by 1,000. It's all the same except for one little thing, and that is that because it's area, it's measured in square meters rather than length, which is in meters. Okay, and a square just means we have to put these on. Okay, so if I wanted to go from centimeters to millimeters, I'm going to times it by 10 squared. Easy. Let's try an example. Okay, example 1 is let's go 420 square meters to square kilometers. Okay, so all I've got to do there is I've got 420 square meters, and now I'm going from meters to kilometers, so it's going to be divided by 1,000 squared. And I'll get my calculator, and I'll put in 420 divided by 1,000 squared. Okay, I don't need to put in this squared okay, because that's part of the units of that number. This squared is part of the number. Okay, hit enter, and that's my answer. 0.00042 of a square kilometre. Okay, because a kilometre squared is really big, and I've only got 420 square metres, which isn't that big in relation. Next up, example 2. Okay, I'm going to do the jumping again. So we've got, let's say we're going to go 2.4 square meters, and I want to go to square millimeters. Okay, so we're going to run it 2.4 square meters, and if I'm going meters to millimeters, that's timesing how many zeros? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 squared equals, put it in, 2.4 times, what was it, 1000 squared, and I get 240,000, and so if we group it, that's 2.4 million square millimeters. Okay, or 2,400,000 square millimeters there. So that's converting area. Last one. Volume. Okay, now volume can be represented in cubic meters and centimeters and that kind of thing, or we have another term called capacity, which is your things like milliliters, liters, kiloliters, etc. Okay, so let's look at the cubic meter side first. It's the same as before. You've got kilometers, meters, centimeters, millimeters. Going this way, arrows. This is the first thing you do in an exam situation. If you knew this was on the test, you'd sit down and do this, because then you don't have to think about it. We're going to divide by 10, and then because it's volume, we're cubing. 100 cubed, okay, dividing by 1000 cubed, and then timesing by 1000 cubed, timesing by 100 cubed, times by 10 cubed. Okay, so let's do an example of that. Let's do 2.5 cubic meters to cubic centimeters. Okay, it's the same thing, 2.5 cubic meters. I'm going meters to centimeters, so it's going to be times by 100 cubed is let's get rid of all of that. 2.5 times 100, and now cubed. I'm gonna. If it doesn't have a special button, okay. I press the caret top, and then I press the little 3. Enter, and that's what it is. What's that? 2,500,000 cubic centimeters. Okay. Now, what if we had to go into capacity, liters? Okay. Well, it looks sort of like this. Let's keep our sort of big unit on this end and our smaller unit on that end. Kiloliters, liters, and milliliters. Okay. Well, let's do this and this. It's the same directions too with the divide and the times. Okay, divide times. Now let's think about it. Milliliters to liters. Okay, well there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter. Okay, and liters to kiloliters, there's 1,000 liters in a kiloliter, and then it's the same on this end. And then something to remember: 1 milliliter is the same as 1 cubic centimeter, and 1 kiloliter is the same as 1 cubic meter. That looks bad. Cubic meter. Okay, so let's say I needed to convert, an example on this one, 2.5 cubic meters into milliliters. Well, what I know, okay, 2.5 cubic meters is the same as, is equal to 2.5 kiloliters, because 1 kiloliter is the same as 1 cubic meter. Okay, so now I'm in kiloliters, now I can get to milliliters. So I'm going to go 2.5 kiloliters, okay, and what am I going to do to get to milliliters? I need to times by, now let's count the zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, times it by a million. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equals, and I'll put that in, 2.5 times 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 2, 5, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. The commas in, 2,500,000 milliliters. Okay, quick recap. Converting length, kilometers, meters, centimeters, millimeters. Think about what the distance between those is and which direction the number is going to go. Is it going to get bigger or smaller? And do up something like this. Then you just use it. Area, chuck squares onto all of those and do the same thing. Volume, chuck cubes onto them and do the same thing, unless you're looking for capacity, in which case you're going to have to turn a cubic meter or a centimeter into one of these to get to the others. Okay, that is converting units.